blood, lifeless bodies from a plane crash, and alien objects. These are 5 scariest objects that fell from the sky. Number 5. Blood. There's a small town in Colombia called La Sierra. One day, like any other day, the sky got overcast and the swallows went out to hunt for insects. The mothers ran to collect the clothes they had left to dry, but the first drops of drizzle touched the fabrics, staining them with an intense red. It was not only drizzle, because the rain increased, turning into a downpour of blood. That's right, from the sky fell a red liquid with the consistency, color, and smell of blood. A bacteriologist was called in to analyze such a phenomenon. He took some samples of the scarlet fluid, and after a simple analysis through a microscope, he confirmed what everyone feared: it was blood. Johnny Milton Cordoba, parish priest of La Sierra, assured that it was a divine sign sent by God to the sinful population, so that they would change their bad habits and follow the path of good. However, there is no record of such a horrific phenomenon being repeated. But since then, the people of La Sierra look up to the sky in fear every time the first drops of rain begin to fall. And tell me, wouldn't you do the same if it rained blood in your village one day? Number 4. Elizabeth Hodges meteorite. In 1954, on November 30th, the people of Talladega County in the state of Alabama, USA, saw a luminous object plow through the afternoon sky at high speed. Some even reported the terrible explosion that was heard moments later. But the latter was quickly denied, because if there had been an explosion like the one they claimed to have heard, there would have been nothing left of Elizabeth Hodges. As it turns out, Elizabeth Hodges, who was resting in her living room, witnessed an object weighing almost 4 kilograms crashing through her roof, bouncing off her radio and hitting her relatively gently on the hip. In this way, Elizabeth Hodges earned the reputation of being the only person in the world to have been hit by a meteorite. And in turn, she also earned the title of Meteorite Impact Survivor, and it only cost her a giant bruise on her hip. Number 3. Human body. On September 25, 1978, something happened to Mary Fuller and her son that, statistically, is as unlikely as a cow falling from the sky. One morning in San Diego, California, Mary and her son were inside the car, waiting for the light to turn green. Then, an object smashed into the front windshield, shattering it completely. Luckily, they both emerged unharmed, though terrified. As they got out of the car, they could see exactly what had hit the car: a human body. The cause? Pacific Southwest Airline Flight 182 just collided with a Cessna private plane, killing 144 people. One of them fell directly on Mary Fuller's car. A tragic yet shocking event. Number 2. Metal objects in Peru. On January 27, 2018, 5 metallic objects fell in Puno, Peru, without apparent explanation. They are several perfect spheres of different sizes, with small protrusions on the axis. The smallest is the size of a soccer ball, while the largest is the size of a therapy ball or beach ball. Although in other parts of the world, these spheres can be as big as a car. According to the Canada Astrophysics Directorate, the spheres came from outer space, and the first suspicions is that it was some Soviet material that was abandoned. These suspicions were later confirmed when Cyrillic characters, that is, those used in Russian alphabet, were discovered on one of the spheres. However, no country has so far claimed them as its own. The theories go deeper. Some say they are pieces of some rocket launched secretly by the Soviet Union at the time, which is why it is believed that they may contain toxic and flammable gases inside. Because of this, the government of Peru deposited them in a high-security laboratory to avoid any incident. What is more worrying is the fact that Russia has not claimed the spheres, even though it is so obvious that they come from that country. Number 1. Strange objects fall in China. In May 2014, something very similar happened to China. but even more disturbing and, above all, more dangerous. One day it was 5 objects, another day it was 3 objects that fell in a rural province in China. They are spheres, but this time with a dotted metal frame. The subject could almost be funny when you see their resemblance to R2-D2 from Star Wars. It might be funny, but when the Chinese authorities investigated the objects, they noticed that they were filled with nitrogen gas, which is highly toxic and dangerous, whether you touch it or inhale it. It was practically by pure chance of fate that the center of gravity of the spheres was at its strongest point, which caused them to hit the ground with that part, preventing them from breaking and releasing the gas. Had that been the case, people could have died nearby. In addition, one of the objects fell into a family's yard, increasing the risk. As to where it came from, no one knows much, and this has given rise to speculation. Some say it's part of a discontinued satellite that went out of orbit. Others speak of parts from some military aircraft whose operations the Chinese government either does not know about or does not want to disclose. Still, both theories have a problem to consider. If these were pieces of an airplane or a satellite, why did the objects fall several days apart? One plane crash can happen, but 2 in the same month? And a satellite? Unless it is hit by a meteorite, would not have to disarm in space. Also, there is another problem with the satellite issue. Why would it carry such a large load of nitrogen gas? The mystery remains unsolved. But there's another thing that should be mentioned. Around that time in Australia, a similar group of spheres fell, only the media did not televise it as in the case of China, and it quickly fell into oblivion. Again, draw your own conclusions. Cases like the blood rain or the metal objects in China are quite shocking subjects. But you would be surprised to know that much more worse things have been in the sky, like the case of a plane and the gremlins on board. If you are interested, here I leave you the video.